Welcome to another episode of my live stream. For the time being, it's being called the Pretzel Show because of, sometimes you get twisted up into pretzels trying to explain things. And um, judging by some of the answers that my cousins are providing to questions I'm asking, for instance, why does this verse of the Quran in Al-Hajj say, Humma Abad Rahman, talking about angels, they are the slaves of Allah or the worshippers of Allah. And the other one, or of the Rahman, the compassionate one. And the other one says, Humma Ind Rahman, and one says Abd, one says Ind. And because I was taught the Quran is perfectly preserved, here's the saying. The miracle of the Quran is that no change has occurred in a single word, a single letter of the alphabet, a single punctuation mark, or a single diacritical mark in the text of the Quran during the last 14 centuries. So for the last 1,400 years, the Quran has been perfectly preserved. That's what I was taught. That's what all Muslims are taught. Talk to any Muslim on the street, he's going to tell you that. And it's true. That's what we were taught. I was taught that. I believe that. Adam was taught that. He believed that. Emmanuel was taught that. He believed that. That's what we were taught. And yet we see these differences. And I've been asking my cousins, help me understand, why is there this difference? Now there's many more differences. This is one difference. There's over 1,300 differences between the Hafs and the Warsh. And this is just the Hafs and the Warsh. Then we get into the other 17 Qur'ans. There's over 17 other Qur'ans that Muslims acknowledge. There's the Sab'a Ahruf and the Ashar Qira'at, the 7 modes and the 10 recitations. So when you get into that, then you're getting into hundreds of thousands of differences between them. And so I've asked my cousins, I've said, hey, help me and understand, why is there this difference? And this is a huge difference. It's only one dot. It's based on the diacritical mark, because you put a dot on top, it becomes Ind. You put the dot under, it becomes Abed or Abd. And this was because there was no diacritical marks in the time of Uthman. In the time of Uthman, when he wrote his Quran, which was the second compilation, Abu Bakr did the first one after the Battle of Yamama. And then after the Battle of Yamama, and I know people are going to make fun of me for saying that, after the Battle of Yamama, Uthman made a Quran, and he gathered and he burned a bunch of Qurans. I'm sorry, this is all in your hadith. Go learn about it. Okay. And so we got all these differences in the Qurans. And then some of my cousins tell me, the answers that they gave me, the answers that my cousins gave me, I'm not happy with. But where I did find an answer? It's in the Quran itself. The Quran itself has the answer. The Quran itself has the answer about this situation where you got all these differences. And so, and you know what? Very few people are taking into consideration my situation, my feelings, because I'm the one who's having to eat all these pretzels. Because there's, what a pretzel situation is, when you have to twist yourself into a pretzel to feel the logic, to find logic, to say that the word abd and ind are the same word. You have to twist yourself into a pretzel. And so, the only one who's offered me any consolation in this is Firas, who says, do you like cheese dip with pretzels? And Firas said, do you like cheese dip with pretzels? Because I'm going to be eating pretzels for a long time if I keep getting these types of answers. And I'm sick of pretzels. I am completely sick of pretzels. I've been eating them for 4 days here, explaining the pretzel situation, about how you got to get yourself tied up into pretzels in order to believe some of this stuff. And anyway, because I'm sick of pretzels, I appreciate Firas's suggestion. Firas said, do you like cheese dip with pretzels? To be honest, I'm not a cheese person. I don't like cheese. The only cheese I like is Fallahi cheese that they make from the ghanam in our beled, where I like the white Arabic cheese, but I don't like American cheese or white cheese or yellow cheese or any of those. But I just wanted to show you. But like, the one thing I want to show you is that I've been asking my cousin. I don't like the answers. The answers they gave me leave me eating pretzels. They're all completely convoluted. They don't make sense. Why are these different words? Why? They don't make sense. But you know what? The answer is in the Quran. I found the answer in the Quran, and I'm going to show you the answer in the Quran at the end of this video. I'm not going to go very long, but I just wanted to thank Firas, first of all, for thinking about me and the fact that I'm sick of pretzels and trying to make it a more pleasant experience by cheese dip. I prefer to have something sweet. I don't know if there's something sweet that you could dip. I know that they do make some pretzels with like yogurt or something. Anyway, I'm going to be eating pretzels for a while with the answers that I've been getting from my cousins. Now, why are there these two differences between abd and ind? Let's look more at this. Okay, and I'm going to give you, you know what? I found the answer. The answer I found in the Quran. The Quran itself has the answer. So I'm going to show it to you at the end. Let me show you. Okay, let me show you the two words. I want to show you the two words that are at issue here. What is the problem here? At the heart of it, this right here is the two issues. By the way, Firas, thank you for the cheese dip recommendation. Let me show you the issue. The issue is that in one verse of the Quran, you have the word abd. In the other one, it's ind. Now, if you look at the consonantal structure, you look at the ain and then the D at the end, that letter D is at the end. They look identical, except for one thing. It's the dot. There's a dot on top with the word ind. There's a dot underneath with the word abd. Now, ind, which is on the left, means with. Abd means, or abad, means slaves. Now, how do we have this inconsistency between the Hafs and the Warsh Quran? How could it be that the perfectly preserved Quran has these two different words, and they're not close words? The only thing that's close about them is the consonantal structure, but otherwise, one is a plural noun, abad, worshippers, and the other one is ind, a conjunction, with. It means with or at, ind or at, with or at. So how can you say these are the same word? Because in the Hafs it says, Humma abad ar-Rahman, they are the worshippers of Allah, or Humma ind ar-Rahman, they are with or at the compassionate one. Which one is on the Lawh al-Mahfuz? Which one is, and look at some of the answers that I got from some of my cousins about this situation, because I've been asking for a week and I haven't been getting really great answers, but let's look at some of the answers I'm getting, because I'm going to be eating pretzels for a long time. So I'm going to be eating pretzels for a long time with these answers that I'm getting. Okay, this is from my cousin Nasser. Nasser, I love you, even though I don't agree with you here. Let's see what Nasser said. Okay, let's hide this one. Nasser said, Abad u'ind nafs al-ma'ana yaluh. Okay, for those of you who don't understand the Arabic, he's saying that the word abad on top, which is slaves, and ind, which is with, on the other one, mean the same thing. Oh, idiot. I'm the idiot. Abad or ind nafs al-ma'ana. They mean the same thing. Who can tell me in what universe does slaves and with mean the same thing? In what universe does slaves and with mean the same thing? But that's what my cousin told me. Let's look at some other things my cousins told me. Okay, this is another response. The other response is المعنى في الآية نفس الشيء يلوح. So the meaning in the verse is the same thing, oh idiot. The المعنى في الآية نفس الشيء يلوح. The meaning in the verse is the same thing. So he's saying that when it says they are the slaves of the most gracious, it means the same thing as they are the worshipers of or slaves of the most gracious. So he's saying that it means the same thing. Okay, so slaves and with mean the same thing. Now, if that logic works, Nasser, that means that you should be able to turn it over. Does that mean that everybody who is with Allah is a slave? Does that mean that everybody who's a slave is with Allah? Because if you're saying it means the same thing, it should work both ways, backwards and forwards. If A equals B, then B equals A. And if Humma Abad al-Rahman, they are the slaves of Allah, means that they are with Allah. That means everything that's with Allah is a slave of Allah. Because you can exchange them. You go back and forward. If A equals B, then B equals A. Obviously, that's not the case. Let's look at some other, because I got some other comments about what this means, the differences between these words. Okay. Okay, now this one's going to be in English, so it'll be easier for the American viewers to see it. Okay, has the same meaning in the ayah. It means the same thing in the verse. One says they are with the Rahman. One says they are the slaves of the Rahman, or they are the worshippers of the Rahman. So with means slavery. With means that they're slaves. With means that they're slaves, and slaves means they're with. It doesn't work, but he says that it means the same thing in the verse. Okay, let's look at some more. I got a couple more. And you know what, you guys, like I said, I don't like the answers that my cousins gave me don't convince me, but there is an answer in the Quran, and I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show you what the Quran says. Okay, I got this one already. Oh, here's another cousin. This is a new guy, and boy, his answer really takes it out there. He says, it's a miracle from God that he will use عند Allah or عباد Allah or نغفر or يغفر, and the message is the same. It's a miracle of Allah. It's not a mistake of Muhammad. No, it's a miracle of Allah that he uses these words. And so you just call it a miracle and forget it. Call it a miracle and forget the fact that you got a contradiction the size of a whale in front of you, that you got two Qur'ans with completely different and very obvious. The problem with this is that the reason for the mistake is very obvious. It was a mistake. Whoever was putting dots, one put a dot on top, one put a dot on the bottom. It's very obvious why they made the mistake. It's very obvious why they made the mistake. But by doing it, they completely changed the meaning. But it's a miracle from God to use Abad Allah and Ind Allah. It's not somebody's mistake. Somebody was writing it and they made a mistake. Or Jibreel maybe misquoted it. But the thing is, if Jibreel misquoted it, or said something wrong, or Muhammad forgot, because Muhammad did forget. Muhammad did forget. There is a hadith where someone came to Muhammad to find out about, he said, this guy said, hey, I was quoting the verse that you said yesterday, Muhammad, and I forgot the rest of it. Can you tell me, Muhammad, what the rest of it is? And Muhammad said that he forgot it. And there's even a verse in the Quran about that. It's chapter 2, verse 106, that Allah does not abrogate or yunsakh ayah, abrogate a verse with that or make it to be forgotten. Yunsiha, make it to be forgotten. Allah does not abrogate or make a verse to be forgotten unless he brings something better or like it. That's what the Quran says, chapter 2, verse 106. So God does make things to be forgotten. So maybe there was a mistake here and they forgot. Was it the dot on top or the dot on the bottom? Of course, they weren't using dots at that time yet. And so later on, 150 years later, as we saw, Father Zacharias spoke about the guy Aswad al-Duwali, Abu Aswad al-Duwali, 150 years later or something, came along and he put the dots in, or he developed the system of the dots, and it was actually his students that actually put the dots in. So the Quran didn't have dots for the first 150, 200 years, which is why you have mistakes like this. And there's so many of these mistakes. So what is the explanation? The Quran itself says the explanation. I'm going to tell you at the very end what that explanation is. So let's look at some more explanations. So anyway, Nasr in 4 messages says they mean the same thing. Slave and with are the same word. They mean the same thing. Dude, I got to eat this pretzel. When you say slave and with are the same word, you have to tie yourself up into a pretzel. Thank you, Firas, for your suggestion that I use cheese dip, because I'm going to be eating pretzels for a long time with these explanations. So let's look at another explanation. And then Eid told me that it's a miracle of Allah. That's Allah's miracle, that on the one time he uses with, another time he uses and here I just want to show you the differences from Google Earth. Now these are so obvious you don't need Google Translate. You don't need Google Translate because these are so obvious. But I'm going to go ahead and show you what Google Earth says. Okay, I'm going to have to go get this from over here. I just want to show you that Google Translate, for those of you who don't read Arabic or don't know the Arabic, I want to show you that Google Translate does also verify what I'm saying. Okay. Okay. On Google Earth, the word abad means worshippers. It also means slaves. But the word ind, which is what's on the bottom in the Warsh Quran, means at or with or near. So one means worshippers, one means at or near. They're not the same words. The only difference is the dot on top and the dot on the bottom. Okay. And so how do we explain all of these? How do we explain all of these problems? Okay. Best thing, eat pretzels, because you got to be twisted into a pretzel if you keep trying to tell us that they're the same word. That's what I keep hearing, is it's the same word. But there's a better explanation. There is a better explanation, and it is in the Quran. The Quran has the answer. The Quran has the answer about this, and I'm going to show you what the Quran says. Okay? Let me show you what the Quran says, because the Quran's answer makes a lot more sense. The Quran's answer makes a lot more sense than anything that any of my cousins have said so far. Okay. And, oh, by the way, I just wanted to also show you that I'm not the first one to discover this issue. I'm not the first one to discover this problem. And so you'll find even in this is a Salafi website, and they're talking about this exact issue right here. They're talking about this exact issue. This is a Salafi website, and they're talking about this subject. They're talking about the problem of this. And they explain it like my cousin Eid, who says, oh, it's a miracle of Allah that you can have two separate words that mean two completely different things, but it doesn't change the miraculous preservation of the Quran, and that is exactly like the Lawh al-Mahfuz. Okay, but you know what? I think the Quran is more honest about this than a lot of what my cousins have been saying. And let me just show you what the Quran says, because the Quran answers this. The Quran has an explanation. So let's go ahead and get what the Quran says. Okay. Oh, you know what? I forgot to bring it on here. I'm going to have to go back to the desktop to get it. But I'm going to show you what the Quran says, because it does. What the Quran says makes more sense than what a lot of my cousin says. Okay. Let me just get here. I want to get the Arabic and the English. I want to get the Arabic and the English. This is what the Quran says. And to tell you the truth, I got to say, I agree with the Quran. I agree with the Quran this time. I think the Quran makes more sense about this subject than my cousins. Look what the Quran says about this. Okay. Okay, hide this one. I'm going to show it in Arabic first, and then I'm going to show it in English. But this is what the Quran says. I think it makes more sense than what my cousins are saying. And there. Okay. Here it is. I want to get the Arabic first. Sorry, you guys. It's taking me a second here. I just want to get the Arabic on here first. Okay, here it is. This is the Arabic. I'm going to put this on just so that this way it makes it bigger. It says, يتدبرون القرآن. Okay, now let's listen to what it says in Arabic. ولو كان من عند غير الله لو وجدوا فيها اختلافا كثير. لو كان من عند غير الله لو وجدوا فيها اختلافا كثير. لو كان من عند غير الله لو وجدوا فيها اختلافا كثير. You know, my cousins didn't explain to me why there's differences in the Quran, but the Quran does. The Quran explains why there's these differences in it better than any of my cousins. And this is what it says in the Quran. وَلَوْ كَانَ مِنْ غَيْرِ لَوْ كَانَ مِنْ عِنْدِ غَيْرِ اللَّهِ لَوْ وَجَدُوا فِيهَا اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. If it is, and let me go ahead and put up the English for you so you can see. This is what the English says. It says in English, if it had been from other than Allah, they would have found therein much incongruity. If it was from someone other than Allah, they would find much incongruity. In Arabic, ikhtilaf. If it was from someone other than Allah, they find many contradictions, differences in it. Well, we found many contradictions and many differences. The Quran says, if they find this, it is proof that it is from somebody other than Allah. That's what the Quran says. And the Quran, I think, offers the most honest explanation of why there's all these differences in the Quran. The Quran says, if you find these differences, and we found them, 1,300 differences, it means it is from someone other than Allah. That's what it says in the Quran. لو كان من عند غير الله ولو وجدوا فيه اختلافا كثير. وجدنا اختلافا كثير. ايش بتعني؟ القرآن نفسه بيوضح ليش في اختلاف كثير. عشان لو كان من عند غير الله. So the Quran says why there's all these differences, because it's not from God. But the Quran does say that the Bible is from God. The Bible does say many times that the Bible is from God. Come to Jesus. Say to Jesus, Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. Oh, you know what? I forgot to I forgot to make this public. So God bless you guys. And I look forward to being with you